Welcome back to the news at 10. It's been over a month since 15 students passed out during school hours at Ogba Junior Grammar School in the Ogba area of Lagos. Now, the incident has been attributed to gas emissions that could have emanated from within the school premises. On our big story tonight, our correspondent Seun Okimbaloe brings us up to speed with the very latest on the matter.
March the 6th, 2014. They came to school but ended up in the hospital. The students collapsed after inhaling gaseous substance. Students of the Ogba Junior Grammar School in Ogba, a suburb of Lagos and a densely populated area.
We came back from break and we had a certain smell. From then, I didn't even understand what happened to me. But later, I feel so dizzy.
That was when they were hospitalized after the incident. But when Channels Television visited the school a few weeks after, the students were writing their terminal examinations. In reality, the March 6 event which led these students to the hospital beds wasn't the first time. In fact, that was the second in less than 6 months. Residents of this area are still lost as to what could be the real cause of the emission. Those who do business in the area too are left with guesses. Behind the school walls, activities go on, but for the people in the area, they have been keeping a close eye.
Ministry of Environment, they brought big caterpillar like that. They dig hole inside that compound. They say they have dictated where that chemical come out.
Authorities say they are on top of the situation.
We already looked at the sources of that emission, and the first source was the issue of carbide that we found over almost about 300 kg of the carbide in that school. And you know carbide comes in the form of calcium. So when a chemical reaction with water, it will form calcium hydroxide, which is like the acetylene. But at the high temperature, when you have sunlight, it reacts with the nitrogen in the atmosphere to form calcium cyanide, which is a very poisonous gas. Out of the 15 children that were affected, 13 of them are asthmatic.
A total of 12 students were brought into the hospital. 2 were of pediatric age, so they were attended to in the pediatric department. 1 of them needed intensive care because he was rather breathless, and she was transferred immediately to the intensive care department of LASUT.
Many questions still begging for urgent answers. Could the combination of these chemical substances, as told by LASEPA MD, be responsible for the suffocation? Also, if the school has been sited on a land space that once housed a truck park, could that also be of any consequence? The cause of the gas emission, I guess, is still sketchy. At least a certain cause has not yet been identified. But as the students are away on holidays, it will be a good time for the state government to unravel the real cause to avert any danger in the future. For the big story, Seun Okimbaloe reporting for Channels Television News.
Well, we'll be moving to business news in a few moments. Adeshawa Josh will join us shortly.
Welcome to Business News. The federal government has been urged to intensify effort at revamping the country's power sector. The Director General of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mr. Muda Yusuf, said this during an interview with Channels Television. Mr. Yusuf is of the opinion that despite the privatization of power firms, the government should do more to revive the sector. The Nigerian Stock Exchange and the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and National Orientation are partnering on a planned presidential summit to boost tourism investments in the country. The Minister of Tourism, Adam Duke, explained that the private sector and government would be teaming up in raising funds to develop the Nigerian Tourism Development Master Plan. The planning committee of the summit was also inaugurated today. And now to provide solutions to consumers and create jobs, human capital resources must be properly harnessed. And this is the view of the Managing Director of Unilever Nigeria, Mr. Yor Nsako, who addressed a leadership session with students of the University of Lagos. Mr. Nsako told the gathering that sustainable growth can be achieved in Africa if organizations and governments invest meaningfully in the education of the younger generation. Our correspondent, Kelvin Obeten, reports.
The managing director and other management staff of Unilever Nigeria PLC were received by the Vice Chancellor of the University of Lagos, Professor Rahman Bello, to formally inform him about their mission on the campus.
If I turn Unilever...
After the short meeting, the Unilever boss addressed students at the Julius Berger Hall. It was a thrilling session as he shares real-life experiences. His presentation dwelled on how the youth can develop leadership skills that will enhance sustainable growth and global competitiveness.
The only one way that we can all ensure that we create the job opportunities that we require and so on is through what was called inclusive growth, what I call sustainability. So the more that businesses grow, the more that your university grows, the more will be the requirement for manpower, for human capability, for Nigerian talent. The more that Nigeria becomes competitive and therefore invites both homegrown businesses and local business and global businesses, the more opportunities will be created for you.
That was followed up with questions from some of the students.
And it just suggests ways how I can compete globally so as to be the best in the world.
To be able to compete globally, you first must know what the global standard is. And in today's world, it is much easier because you have the internet, etc. So be curious about the world, be curious about the best. What does it mean when people say that they are the best? And if you do that, then you win.
As I'm a student, so I should just try to put my efforts and do what I'm asked to do by my own self and just be at my best.
One of the things I need to do is to look inward first and bring out the best in me and to be the best in whatever I do. And that's how I can be useful to Nigeria and even to the entire Africa.
The objective of Unilever's Sustainable Living Plan is powered by an idea that small actions can make big differences. The few words of advice to these students can be summarized. You can build the change you want to see around you. Kelvin Obeten, Channels Television News.
And now we head to the Nigerian stock market now, where for the third time in a row, the local burs closed in the positive territory. Although gains were moderate, it was good enough to maintain market indicators above the 39,000 psychological lines. Here is Temple Ashaju with the report.
Hello and welcome to the Stock Market Report. The key benchmark at the Nigerian equity market recorded a modest gain as the market breadth closed positive with 23 gainers to 20 losers. The all-share index appreciated by 0.07% to finish at 39,325.98 with a market capitalization of 12.93 trillion naira. Stanbic IBTC Bank PLC was among the price gainers for the day, adding over 1 to close at 21 naira 36 kobo. The group for the first quarter of the year declared a 13.7% increase in gross earnings. Lafarge Rapco Cement PLC and Mobile PLC are also on the gainers list. And with a price loss of 35 naira 10 kobo, Nestle PLC led Okomo Oil, MRS and 17 other depreciators. UBA Capital PLC and FBN Holdings were the most active to boost the market's turnover. When the closing bell rang, investors in 4,385 deals had exchanged 788.93 million units of stocks. All that was for 5.69 billion naira. And that's it on the Stock Market Report. I am Temple Ashaju.
And that's Business News Tonight. The News at 10 continues in a moment.
First Bank, truly the first.
Still ahead on the news at 10, Golden Eaglets head to Lome ahead of this weekend's WAFU Under-17 tournament. That's on Sports News. Please join us again.